Hello, Algebra 2 folks, and welcome to the continuation of Unit 2 Linear Functions. Today we're going to learn how to write equations of lines. You need your notes and a calculator, and we will get started. First thing we're going to do is talk about the learning target. Today's learning target says that I can write an equation of a line when given a slope and a point, 2 points, or a line perpendicular or parallel to a point. So you will need to be able to write equations of lines given various information. All right, now that you have that written down, let's go ahead and start the work. What if I asked you to give me directions to Starbucks? What else would you need to know? Oh yes, I know we're talking about Starbucks, my favorite place in the world. You all know that. But what would you need to know? You would need to know the town in which we were going to go to Starbucks. You wouldn't give me the same directions for Bismarck Starbucks as Fargo Starbucks. Well, there's like 5 Starbucks in Bismarck. So you would want to know, I would want to know exactly which Starbucks you were going to give me directions for. It would be the one in down south, the one at Target, the one on 3rd Street, the one on State Street, the one in Barnes & Noble, the one up on Century. Where are we going to Starbucks? So there's some really important pieces of information before you just tell somebody this is the Starbucks. I'm just going to give you directions, but not tell you anything about where you're going. Okay, so you need to keep that in mind when we're talking about writing equations of lines. I know that doesn't seem important, but it really is. We have to have some basic knowledge of what we're going to do, and when we're given that knowledge, then we can decide which path we are going to take. So if I'm going to write equations of lines, I need to know a few pieces of information, very important pieces of information about a line. Then I can decide what form I'm going to use. I'm not going to use the same form all the time because when I get one type of information, I want to do what's easiest. I want to go the easiest way to Starbucks, okay? So if I have the slope and the y-intercept, then I'm going to use slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. All right, because the m represents the slope and the b represents the y-intercept. Or if I have the information, a slope and a random point, and now I don't have the y-intercept anymore, I am not going to use the slope-intercept form. I'm going to use what's called the translated form. And the translated form looks a lot like the slope-intercept form, but it's shifted the random point. So your random point kind of shifts the graph over. Okay, so that's y equals m parentheses x minus h plus k. All right, so it's really important that I know what information I have before I decide which formula I'm going to use. So if I want to write the equation of a line given this graph, it looks like from this graph that I'm going to be able to find the slope and the y-intercept. And if that's the case, then I'm going to use y equals mx plus b. All right, so I'm going to go onto this graph and I'm going to figure out what the slope is. So I'm going to pick 2 nice points. Here's a really nice point, and here's a really nice point. And I know this is a positive slope because the graph is increasing. So plus, it's a positive slope. And I rise over run again is slope. So I'm going to rise up 3 and run over 1. So my slope is 3 over 1. Now I'm going to look for the y-intercept. Well, this is the x-axis, and this is the y-axis, and the y-axis is where you find the y-intercept. Well, it just so happens that it's crossing at 0, 5. So the equation of my line, because I have a slope and a y-intercept, would be y equals 3x plus 5. That's the equation of the line, okay? So then if I have example number 2, I want to write the equation of the line that passes through the given point and has the given slope. Well, I have a slope and a point, so I could use y equals mx plus b if I really needed to, but Because I have a slope and a random point and not the y-intercept, I'm going to use y equals m parentheses x minus h plus k. So I am going to use this formula. Can this one get me to the same place as the one that I've started over here, the translated form? Certainly y equals mx plus b can get you there, but why would I use it if it's going to mean I got to work harder to get there or take me longer to get to Starbucks, okay? So y equals, the slope is 3. So we're going to plug that in for m. X, our h is -2. So when I plug that in there, I'm going to go opposite of -2. So it's really like -2, okay? And so that would really be plus, because 2 negatives make a positive. And then k is going to be plus -5, and that would be just negative. So y equals 3x plus 2 subtract 5. So the h is your horizontal shift, your shift left and right, okay? And we want to go to -2, and you're going to have opposite of -2, because if I set x plus 2 equal to 0, I would get -2. And then the k is the vertical shift. I should probably write this down, because these things are going to come out all year long. And the vertical shift means how many units am I going up or down? In this case, I'm going to go down 5. Okay, so the equation of the line would be y equals 3x plus 2 in parentheses, subtract 5. Now, what if I needed to get that into y equals mx plus b form? Could I do that? Well, sure I could, because you guys all know how to use the distributive property. I take 3 times x, 3 times 2, and I'd get 3x plus 6 minus 5, and that would give me y equals 3x plus 1. So guess what the 1 is? The 1 is going to be the y-intercept, okay? So this would be slope-intercept form, and this would be translated form. Now, I don't need you to multiply it out and get into y equals mx plus b form unless I ask for that in the directions. So you're just going to have to look and read your directions and make sure if I say give me the answer in y equals mx plus b, that you can do that. Okay? Example number 3. Write the equation of a line that passes through 2 given points. Well, I have 2 points, so I don't have anything now. Oh, but what does 2 points give us? So 2 points will give us a slope. So we need to find slope first. 7 minus 3 over 4 minus 2, which would be 4 over 2, which would be 2. So I have a slope of 2. And then I have a random point. I have 2 random points, actually. I have this random point 2, 3, and this random point 4, 7. Does it matter which random point I use in my translated form? No. Okay, so let's go over here and do the translated form. Y equals, and I'm going to use translated form because I have a random point. I don't have a y-intercept. So then I'm going to have slope, which is 2, x minus my random point h value. I'm going to go ahead and use this one. I'm going to say the 2 is the h and the 3 is the k, so -2, and then my k is plus 3. Okay, now if I said I wanted that into slope-intercept form, we would go ahead and multiply it out. Get 2x minus 4 plus 3 would be 2x minus 1. Now, let's do this. I want to prove to you that this point would also give me this exact value. So let's go ahead and use this one as our h and k now. So y equals 2 times x minus 4 plus 7. Go ahead and distribute it out. Y equals 2x minus 8 plus 7. Y equals 2x minus 1. Look at there. They both give us the same equation. Nice. So it doesn't matter which random point you use that's on the line, as long as you use one of them on the line. Okay, let's try example number 4. Example number 4 says write the equation of a line that passes through a point. Oh, there's our random point. And is perpendicular to this equation. Well, first of all, we got to figure out what does perpendicular mean. Okay, well, perpendicular means that perpendicular slopes are opposite and reciprocal. Remember that? So the slope of this is 1/3. The perpendicular slope would equal -3. Opposite in sign and the reciprocal. So our slope is going to be m equals -3. And our random point is 4, 1. We can find the equation of the line by saying y equals -3, x minus 4, opposite of whatever the point is for x, and then exactly what k is, so plus 1. So y equals -3, parentheses x minus 4 plus 1. There's our random point, there's our slope. So then if I wanted that into slope-intercept form, I would say I would distribute the -3, and the equation in slope-intercept form would be -3x plus 13. Okay, so either one of these answers would be wonderful answers. All right, that's all I have for you today. Take care, and we'll see you back again. Peace out.